go from in Edmonton where, you're drafted by Boston, they trade for you, you're playing well, you win a cup behind Grant, and then Grant has the injury issues, and then you take him, you win the mug, and then you go from being the guy who wins the Conn Smythe to traded to Washington, and you're backing up, the greatest South African to ever put on the pads, and Olie the goalie, Olaf Kolzig, Godzilla. Like, how do you, from the business perspective, I guess, put yourself into a mind frame where you're able to succeed in those roles?
What you learn is when you get the opportunity, you got to make the best of it. And that's what I did in Edmonton. I took the advantage of Grant's injury and Grant's suspension, and I basically forced them to decide on an asset, kind of what we were able to do in LA with Jonathan Quick. You create assets, and they got to the point where because of the financial situation, I was much cheaper than Grant Fuhr. And so I became an asset that they were able to use, and they decided that they're going to go the cheaper route and move Grant for younger players and slide me into that role. When you talk about the Washington situation, unfortunate injury, and Olie, took the reins and didn't give it back to me. And so then I became a mentor and tried to do my best. And
if you could, I'm not super familiar with that situation. So you're the starter in Washington, and then you got injured, and he took the reins.
Yep.
So kind of the reverse of Grant, I guess.
Yep, exactly. And so I'd gone through it the other way around, and that just one of those scenarios where, like, we went all the way to the Stanley Cup final. Like, Olie, was first round pick, expected to be the guy, and wasn't able to. Byron Dafoe was in there. They're competing against each other. Then Byron gets moved on to Boston, and then all of a sudden, Olie finally became the goalie that everybody expected him to become. And I tried to be, as an older guy, I tried to help out best I could, but he was he was an interesting, a lot of fun to watch, because he would get so mad. The German side of him we used to talk about, where he would snap, and that was really my job, to kind of keep that temper in check while we were running late through the season and then into the playoffs and stuff. And to this day, we're still great friends. And I was disappointed that I lost the job, but I was just excited for him and what he was able to do. And then he just his career just took off from there, and good for him.
Any times that come to mind where he's freaking out and you're like, Olie, we gotta chill a bit.
Oh God, like there was great story. The year that he kind of took over, but it started in training camp, and it was my first training, because I got traded at the deadline. So it's my first training camp with Washington, and it's pre-training camp, and we're out for a scrimmage, and Olie and Joe Ricci used to just butt heads, and they would just go after each other back and forth all the time. And Joe scored on him in this scrimmage, and stick over the crossbar, over to the bench, grab a stick, get back to the crease, stick over the crossbar, over to the bench, get a stick, and last one, skated off the ice, ran out of sticks.
What kind of lumber is he using?
It was wooden
Actual
sticks.
lumber.
So it was lumber.
Like
it was
Heaton,
it was a
Sherwood?
Heaton. It was a Heaton.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Four of them?
It was 3 or 4. I think it was only 3, because he didn't have another one taped.
Bill, you mind going in? I'm out of twigs.
Yeah. So I'm down in the other end going, oh boy, this isn't good. This isn't good. This isn't good. Yeah. But that's a good Olie story. But it was incredible, the run he went on, and you lose your job, you hate it. I'm a competitor, but you also got to support a teammate, and I tried to do the best I could. And the thing that I remembered most was George McPhee calling me in at the end of the season and just kind of saying, it's, you did a great job with, had to be tough. I know how competitive you are, but you did a good job just trying to help Olie along the way. But But the bottom line is Olie's the one that did it. He's the one that you got to give Olie credit. He's the one that did it. He made the saves and took us to the final.
Is it hard to separate that though? Because you got the competitive side.
Yeah, but it's you know what? There's always gonna be that point in your career that I always said I want to be the good teammate, not the bad teammate.
Mm-hmm. I found that was kind of hard to embrace that mindset because, like you mentioned,
I didn't embrace it.
Well,
I didn't embrace it.
Accept it.
Yeah, and I didn't accept it either. I didn't like it one little bit. But you know what? You got to do what's best for the team. Man. It can change like that. It can change quick.
You find that I don't want to get like too like foo-foo-y, but like the better teammate you are, the more likely you are to get a better bounce. It's like the hockey gods are rewarding you for being a good teammate.
Yeah,
you make your own luck.
You make your own luck. Yeah, I really believe that. I just think the things that drove me in my career, one of the big things was respect, and that was not only respect from my own teammates, but respect from opposing players, and that meant a lot to me. And I hope to say that, you know, if you talk to most of my teammates, I had good relationship with everybody. I wasn't part of one little pact or anything. I tried to hang out with everybody. It was easy because I was the one that didn't drink, so I could hang with anybody. I didn't drink when I played, so once or twice a year. But I just tried to hang out with my teammates, and that's the way I approached it.
That's a tough culture back in the 80s and 90s.
Well, funny story, when they closed Rexall down or Northlands, whichever you want to call it, another guy, rest in peace, Peter Klima, he was at the final night there, and I was having a beer, and Peter comes up to me and goes, "I don't know if I've ever seen you drink a beer." And I said to Peter, "I'm surprised you knew that I didn't drink." And we both had a good chuckle out of that one.
Hey, more hockey content. It might be old, it might be new, it might be a full episode, it might be a half episode, but you can click these boxes because who doesn't like clicking boxes?